Hi everyone, it's Dixie, that crazy art chick. Today I have something a little different. This entry does not focus on a certain verse. I just finished reading Mark from start to finish, and I'm going to do so again because I'm not finished studying. But if you follow me or know anything about my story, you know that I grew up Christian, but I just recently, as an adult, accepted Jesus Christ into my heart, decided to follow him, and was saved. So I have never read this story, even though I know it. I've never read the Bible, and I've just started doing that here within the last year. So this is Mark, and when I finished studying it, I was just in awe, just totally in awe. And when I stopped to journal and reflect on this, I just couldn't think of anything to paint that would express this feeling that I had inside. And what finally came to mind was like a comic book, like that pow that they do in the comic book. So that's basically what this entry is. So I have my paint. I've started with this yellow, and I already had the basic idea of what I wanted drawn very lightly in pencil. I am using Apple Barrel acrylic paint, and this color is light yellow. I wouldn't really describe it that way, but that's what the bottle says. So we are going to finish filling in this yellow pow that I have, and you'll see that my supervisor is in the room with me today, and she will be double checking everything I do throughout this video. There she is. So I think this would be a really fun idea that you could do with kids, a little bit older kids than mine. Mine are 3, 2, and 3 months, but they're often in the room with me. So now we're going to switch to red and do our background. This red is also Apple Barrel, and I believe, yes, it is flag red. So we are going to paint our background. And there's no technique here. There is no skill being applied here. If you noticed, I finally realized that I didn't have a piece of paper behind my page just to protect the page behind it. I normally don't forget that. So we're going to go over this with, I only do one coat of red paint. This one, it actually turns out a lot better than I thought it looked like it was going to. So we're going to go through here, and you can see I'm just starting with the edge of my brush, and I go around and kind of trace around my yellow star. I'm going to call it a yellow star. And then I just kind of go behind it and fill in the background. So as I'm painting this, my daughter is very adamantly telling me that I have not marked my paint because I just opened this red. I store all of my paint standing upright in a drawer, and it's very hard to see what color I'm looking for without lifting up all of the bottles. So I take just a little dab of paint and I smear it on the lid so that I can see what color it is. We are almost finished with this red background. I'm sorry, I know you can hear my kids sometimes. I try to avoid that as much as possible when I'm doing these tutorial videos, but you know, I'm a mom, so it is what it is. So with this, a lot of times I will put a piece of paper on the adjacent page just to protect that little bit of run over, I guess you could call it. With this one I didn't, and it doesn't bother me in this Bible, but that's just always something to keep in mind. Now we are switching to Apple Barrel Bright Blue. And looking back, I almost give this like a shooting star effect. So my tip for this would be make your dots small, closest to your comic book expression, pow, and make the dots bigger as you go out. And I think it gives it more of the speech bubble look that I was trying for, and it just didn't come to mind at that time, like how it's supposed to look. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here, and it turns out looking just fine, in my opinion. So once what I have completed so far is checked by the boss, I take this double-ended marker and I just add some black dots to give it a little bit more going on the page. These do bleed through. They won't in this case because I have used acrylic paint, which acts as a page prep. But always check your materials first. Do a little test. I found these decals at Family Dollar, and they were in the 50-cent bin, so I had no idea what I was going to use them for, but you know me, I couldn't leave them in the store. And they came in handy for this page because OMG is all I could say to express how I felt about this gospel. OMG, where did my sticker go? No, I'm kidding. I couldn't resist. I took it off for just a second, and you can actually see it stuck to the corner of my Bible down there on the right-hand side. I decided to take one of my red double-ended markers and go around the outside of this yellow star just to make it look a little more clean. And that turned out pretty good. After I finished with that, I put my stickers back on here and I just rub my finger over it to get out any air bubbles. And I add this hashtag because, I don't know, it looked cute. It seemed fitting to me. And there's no bleed through on the other side. And now I'm going to write my prayer. I'm going to read you my prayer, but before I do that, I just want to say that as I'm writing this, I couldn't remember how to spell amazement. So I left it and was going to look it up to make sure I was right. And then I didn't remember to write the rest of the word until I was finished recording. But I promise you that I have gone back and fixed all of my grammar issues in this prayer. But it says, "Dear Lord, I am in total amazement as I study the Gospel of Mark. I can only begin to imagine being able to walk beside you. My studies in this book have brought me so much joy, but also so much shame. How could anyone know you and deny you? Lord, I ask you, forgive these terrible things and find a home in my heart. Please continue to walk with me as I read the Bible. Amen." You can probably tell just, especially in the beginning of the video when I'm trying to explain to you the meaning behind this page, and as I read this prayer, if you have not read Mark, it had such a profound impact on me, and it still just blows my mind. Like, I don't even know what to say to you, except that if you read this book slowly, it took me 2 days to read Mark because I studied it and highlighted it and asked questions and looked up the answers to my questions. And it's just been awesome to me. So I'm almost finished writing my prayer here, and it's kind of a long one, so it does take up the better half of the left side of my page, but that is why we journal. So if I would have wanted to keep praying and covered up everything that I just painted, like, that's why we do this. This is our form of worship. This is my form of study. Every page in my Bible does not get paint on it. A lot of it is just highlighting and underlining and Post-it notes and really just diving into the word and reading it with the intention to understand and to learn. I will take the opportunity as I finish writing this prayer to tell you that the majority of the materials that I use are linked below. So you should definitely go check those out if this is something that you're thinking about getting into. And at the end of this video, which is coming up very shortly, you kind of get a sneak peek at my study notes. And if that's something that you guys are interested in seeing how I study, I'd be more than happy to make a video about it. So make sure you let me know in the comments, because I don't use a color-coded system. I don't use a study Bible. I have kind of come up with my own super simple way to study, and I'd be happy to share that with you. But if this is something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to my channel, click that bell so you don't miss anything, and thank you for watching. Bye.